Good morning. Today is Wednesday, the 10th of June 2020. This presentation that I'm doing here is for our Aboriginal clans right across Australia and also for here in Western Australia. We have a very, very serious crisis here in Perth, Western Australia, and what we have is a three-phase engineered migration initiative to rescue Perth's 2,600 at-risk homeless children under the age of 12. These children have been on the streets now for 3 winters, and the stats that we give you are government stats. The people and organisations can also testify, many organisations can testify that this is a racist political issue, why these 2,600 children have been left on the streets, couch surfing or sleeping rough in caves, in tents, in under bushes, in the parks. They're also in the beds of paedophiles now, and many of the young girls are getting pack raped by the African gangsters and drug dealers. It is a crisis. It is not just a homeless crisis with a mass population of 2,600 people. These are little children under the age of 12, 2,600. Here in Perth is the paedophile capital of the world. We have 3,400 registered convicted paedophiles. Registered convicted. They only convict 1 out of 10, so it's probably more like 30,000 registered convicted, paedophiles. So this city is saturated with the paedophiles. I was told last night by someone that it works out 1 paedophile per block. At 3,400 paedophiles in Perth, it works out at 52 paedophiles per suburb. So that's almost 1 paedophile per street. So it is the paedophile capital of the world. It's also the child sex crime capital of the world, and because that links hand in hand, doesn't it, with paedophiles, rapists that rape children. And these children are in a catastrophic state, which is why we're taking it global. We're going to approach Oprah, Morgan Freeman, and Black Lives Matter. And when you look at this, my map I've done behind me, what it says right there, little Black Lives Matter too. All right, because that's what they are. They're little black lives. Out of the 2,600 children, the majority are Aboriginal. Now, and they've been on the streets now since the last Bureau of Statistics was done here, and nothing's been done about it. And the reason is it's because it's racism in politics. It stems right back to the 1901 White Australia policy, which was institutionalised, that went through every sector of government, non-government organisations. It went through the education systems, the universities, with white supremacy, saying that this is white Australia, we own Australia. Aboriginals are savages, they are animals less than a plant. And when you have a society, a whole nation that is indoctrinating their children from a very, very young age that Aboriginals are savages, that are animals less than a plant, those children grow up and they pass it on to the next generation, and then the next generation, the next generation. So that White Australia policy has been out now since 1901. There's 120 years of what we call intergenerational racism, passed on from white families onto the next family of children, to the next family, to the next family, the next family. And, children are children. They'll believe anything that they hear in the very formative years of their lives. And unfortunately, this racism is, deep-seated prejudice, hatred towards Aboriginals, and you just got to be here in Australia. You talk to any Aboriginal and ask them, have you ever been treated in a racially prejudiced way? And they'll tell you, man, that happens every day. I work with Dion Joseph we went and got Dion a pair of glasses, and then this little screw here fell out. And Dion says, "Oh, I'm going to get this repaired." This was a couple of weeks after you got the glasses. I said, "Oh, you just go to that eye shop there, with the glasses, and they'll give you another one for free." He said, "They'll give you one. They won't give me one. They'll make a big scene." I said, "Mate, it costs nothing. I've had it done before." He said, No, I'm Aboriginal. They won't give me it. They'll give you it. Others, but not Aboriginals. And this is the way that our poor Aboriginal brothers and sisters have to put up with this every day. So, this can be brought to an end, and I am the world #1 Indigenous Sustainability Specialist. I'm a member of the Sustainable Nation Building Industry Steering Group. Right, these are the world leaders in sustainability. We're the world leaders in rapid building and construction. You will find out we can build, 2 16-year-old Aboriginal boys can build a house, a beautiful 3-4 bedroom house in 28 days, because we've gotten rid of all the trades. So we had the rapid building construction. We also are the world leaders in social sciences that you will learn about. We're also the world leaders in advanced human development technology. So you'll find all this out as you come to know us. Right now, I am the world #1 Indigenous Sustainability Specialist. Notice the wording, specialist. I do not say that I'm an expert. White fellas do that. And the moment you go, I'm an expert, what you're doing is you're elevating yourself above our brothers and sisters. That's a no-no, When it comes to true sustainability, you don't have other humans elevated above other humans. Our leaders should be the least among us. They should just simply be our servants and our slaves for the people. That's how it works. Not like politicians, right? Not like these corporate CEOs and whatnot want to be noticed, elevated above everybody else. Not so in the old Maori society that I myself come from the Ngāti Kahungunu Maori tribe in New Zealand. Now, there are protocols that I'm supposed to introduce myself, but I really haven't got time to do that today. We're very cut short to time. I've got to get this video here over to a special group of our Indigenous brothers and sisters here that want to help and assist Dion Joseph to get these children off the streets of Perth. All right, so what I'm going to do now is, and by the way, James, Hemi Newman is my name, or James. Hemi is the Maori name for James. And Peter Newman knows me as this. Peter Newman is the world #1 sustainability expert. He's non-Indigenous, of course. He's an absolute fabulous bloke. He's helped me on 3 different projects. It's just wonderful to know him. So, we, as I say, we have the world leaders in the different areas, including in the areas of bio-intensive agriculture, that's permaculture, organic gardening, animal husbandry, aquaculture, all these sort of things. So we're all here in Perth, and it's very exciting. But what we have is the sustainable nation building industry, which took us 30 years to bring to the market. That was the innovation phase, because we don't use any fossil fuels or automobiles in the development of what we call micronation-based safe nations, zero-emission economies. We don't use any fossil fuels or automobiles. You can learn about that in the other videos. So what their focus here today is on the children. We need to get these children off the streets. This is the 3rd winter. Last year in July, one of the children, he died sleeping rough in the main street of Armidale. And white people walked past him, didn't pick him up. Well, it was an animal or bird, they would have picked it up, right? They would have picked it up, they would have nurtured it, they would have taken it to a vet and paid the bill in a lot of cases. Not so with an Aboriginal child sleeping rough on the street. And he died. And the cause of death, according to the coroner, was hypothermia. If you're a Kiwi like me, you know what it is. You die from the cold. In other words, that little boy, he froze to death, right? And it is now winter, and we're very, very concerned with 2,600 of these little children still in the streets. As I say, if it was 2,600 white children, they would have been taken off the streets 3 years ago because there would have been an outcry. But because they're Aboriginal, nobody gives a stuff, really. And unfortunately, when I say nobody gives a stuff, we approached 60 billionaires, millionaires, CEOs, CFOs, MDs, including Gina Reinhardt, and her chief advisor went straight into her office and approached her on my behalf to help get these children off the streets. She didn't want to know about it. And she said, no, I would only do that, contribute, if they were from the Pilbara, where we do the mining. And I said, well, what's the difference? They're Aboriginal. Right? And what they didn't know, and she said she'd only do it if they were from the Pilbara. Well, what you didn't know is they are from the Pilbara. Right? They're from all the different clans. There's 50 odd clans they represent. And we have a problem because the Department of Communities won't give us the information on a breakdown of how many children from each clan, because the government is now panicking because we're taking this offshore with a massive 4 campaigns to expose these children on the streets. Because, you know, little Black Lives Matter too. So when Oprah gets a hold of the story, and Morgan Freeman, and we've got the connections to him, all hell's going to break loose. There's going to be a global outcry why 2,000 little children have been left on the streets for 3 winters, all right? But when you're less than a plant or an animal in the eyes of politicians and the greedy rich, we call them the 60 greedy rich that we've praised because we know them because of our corporate connections and backgrounds. All these billionaires, millionaires, but not one of them gave a cent, not even a $10 contribution towards the crowdfunding that Dion needs. And the only person that did was my neighbour, and she's on a disability support pension, gave us the last $10. That's all we were asking people for. And then there was a man from Mauritius, and he gave a couple of hundred. And then there was also Jerry Georgatis, he's from the Human Rights Alliance. 3 people in 10 months gave that money. Now, what was very disappointing was that we also approached over 100 Maoris and also the indigenous, the Aboriginal Noongar Nation. Dion Joseph has 500 followers on social media, and you know what? How many do you reckon donated a $10 donation to the crowdfunding? Not one. And that's a very sad story to hear, that even the Noongar people don't give a hoot about these little children under the age of 12 on the dangerous, paedophile, saturated streets of Perth. And we just seem to see a veil go over everybody's eyes the moment that we mention, you know, we say, yeah, there's 2,600 children. Oh, we feel compassion, all that. But the moment we mention the Aboriginal, it's like a veil goes over their faces, you know. It's like, don't want to know about it, sorry. And that's it. That's a really disgusting, shocking way for humans to behave. So, as I say, we're going offshore. We're taking it to the people that will do something about it, and they are going to create a global outcry. But we do have the solutions. Now, I'm going to go through this mind map here. I did it up for one of our corporations here, Aboriginal corporations, and I'm going to go through the different aspects of it. Right, so over here, I can't see that very clearly, so what I'm going to have to do is, I'm going to turn it around.